We are live once again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the PC Gaming Show. I know this is not the most popular of press conferences, but I figured I should check it out anyway. You never know what kind of major announcement we might see. So I hope everyone's doing well. I hope coverage from yesterday has been satisfactory. I've been trying to keep up as a one-man army here. You know, you never know. Yes, this conference is powered by Epic Games Store, which will have some mixed feedback, but Epic shenanigans aside, I do hope to see some good games, you know. I hope, I want to see more of Vampire Masquerade 2, Bloodlines 2. I think they might show a bit more of that game here. So that's kind of like one of the main reasons I'm tuning in. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Abe says, "Hey Yong, when are you meeting with CD Projekt?" That would be on Wednesday. So look forward to that. Mark your calendars. Not sure if I'm gonna post the interview that same day or the day after. Depends on what else I'll be doing that day. But you know, I'll do my best to get everything posted as fast as possible. The man in the desert says, "YongYea speaks Spanish. Saludos a mis fans de Latinoamérica. Muchas gracias por el soporte." Command and Conquer Remastered. That'd be cool. Loop, "Hey Yong, sum up the Bethesda show for us." I do plan to do like a review video after this. I wanted to do it yesterday, but by the time I finished posting the Xbox one, I was just exhausted. I just went out, ate, and then just crashed. So that's that. And yeah, I hope the audio levels are good. Let's see, Metaface72. "Hey Yong, did you meet up with Layman Gaming?" We're actually meeting up on Thursday, last day of E3, for a little, you know, get-together there. So, yeah, stay tuned for that one, if you're into those folks, those fine folks, the Layman Gaming. Rolling Stone, "Who had the best conference so far?" Well, of the ones we have seen, which is Microsoft, Bethesda, and Digital Devolver. I mean, Microsoft, I'd say overall, had the best conference so far. Because Bethesda's was just not great at all, in my opinion.
This is the PC Gaming Show.
Okay, it started.
A celebration of the most vibrant gaming platform. For the next 2 hours, you'll see all new gameplay.
Is that Liam Neeson?
Trailers and interviews. Taking the stage today are first gameplay footage for Vampire the Masquerade.
Oh, okay, good.
Bloodlines 2,
I'm glad I tuned in.
Borderlands 3, the reveal of Evil Genius 2, Starmanzer, Last Oasis, 2 new games from Coffee Stain Studios, Griftlands, Planet Zoo, what's next for Terraria, Remnant from the Ashes, Mosaic, Warframe, Baldur's Gate 3.
Are we gonna see
Shenmue
gameplay?
3, the reveal of Unexplored 2.
Gameplay of Baldur's Gate?
Age of Wonders, Planetfall, and more. And now your PC Gaming Show hosts, Day9 and Frankie Ward.
Alright, if we actually see gameplay, you know, that'd be great.
Good morning.
The one issue I have with E3 right now is very little gameplay.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the PC Gaming Show! Yeah!
Oh, is that day 9?
Yes! We're so happy you're here today. We have a great
Oh, that's
show
cool.
for you.
I like day
lined up.
9.
We got 30 games that we're going to be showing off. 30! Some of them will be updates to existing franchises and titles. Others will be exclusive world first looks. Y'all ready? Well, I first want to thank our sponsors for helping make this event possible. Without their support, this event would not happen each year. So thank you so much. Thanks to you for coming out. It's 10 a.m. in Los Angeles. Happy Monday, everyone. Best day of the week.
Somebody asked what I thought of Ghostwire, highlight of Bethesda show.
Tuning in live from all over
but
the
no
internet,
gameplay,
YouTube,
so.
Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, wherever you're tuning in
But
from. We're happy to
I
have
love
you.
the
My name is
artistic
Day9.
direction.
I'm one of your hosts for this event. Joining me is the fantastic Frankie Ward.
Love the monsters.
Hello. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you, Sean. Hello, everyone. Now, for you guys,
Japanese
at home, for the first
Lovecraftian, as
time,
I described
whatever
it.
platform
Loved
you're
it.
watching on, we are going to be pulling your clever comments. Just remember that. I said clever comments from Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook throughout the show, making you famous on the internet, on the screen. We're going to be sharing them live. And one of the things we're especially looking for are your questions for the Borderlands 3 team, because, Sean, you've got a mission to put their questions to the developers later.
That's right. Midway through this show, I'm going to be asking those questions to the creative director of Borderlands 3. Use hashtag PC Gaming Show, and we'll read them live. Until then, let's start the PC Gaming Show with our very first title from UK developer Rebellion. Several years ago, they announced that they were working on the follow-up to Evil Genius, a real-time evil layer simulator.
And now, Rebellion is ready to reveal its nefarious vision for the project. So, PC Gaming Show, who's ready to stroke a cat menacingly? Here is the world exclusive reveal for Evil Genius 2 World Domination.
I've heard of Evil Genius, but I've never played it, so not sure how it plays, what the general thoughts about that series is. Oh man. It is morning here. It's like 10 a.m. I guess. It's actually late in the morning, but I'm still kind of tired from last night. This kind of reminds me of The Incredibles, but if everyone were supervillains. No gameplay, so I don't know what to make of it. Again,
Masquerade Bloodlines 2 is the successor to one of the most beloved RPGs ever. And with me to talk about it, I have Brian Mitsoda and Cara Ellison from Hardsuit Labs. Now, Brian, you were a writer on the very first game, so what does it mean for you to finally get to work on the sequel?
It means that a lot of people have very high expectations, and we have to meet those.
Well, let's take a look at whether you are going to meet them, because we are going to take a look at the world's first gameplay footage.
ooh, I'm excited for this one. This is a game a lot of people are looking forward to. Vampire's a classic, so.
I guess I have to be the one to tell you. You're dead.
Cool. Cool. Cool.
You're obviously new to this whole existence, but truth is, most of you types won't even make it a whole year. We have one rule. You don't break the masquerade.
So this is pre-alpha footage, so lots of room for, you know, tweaks before launch.
The city. We're all fighting over scraps here.
Welcome to the first day of the rest of your death. Having fun yet?
Is that it?
guys, what does it mean to be a vampire in this world?
So in the Empire, what it is, it's kind of a darker version of our world, and the vampires kind of need to keep their presence secret from humanity. So the vampires are kind of staying hidden in the shadows while also needing to feed on human beings and kind of manipulating us in order to get blood.
We're talking about feeding on human beings. I'm getting flashbacks to last year's show. Cara, it's not just a case, though, of sucking blood and filling up your health meter, is it? Actually, different types of blood do different things.
That's right. So we have the resonance system, which means that essentially vampires can kind of see the emotional resonance of human beings, like fear or desire, and then they can feed on those people to like feel the same things as human beings do, to feel more kind of alive. And that can give you like extra boosts in the game. And
there were some really interesting characters in that trailer as well. What kind of relationships are we going to be forming with them as the player?
Well, very fragile, very volatile relationships, very mature relationships, so it's going to be a fun time.
And one thing that was really intriguing to me when I was learning about this game is you don't just get bitten and turn into Nosferatu, Dracula, or Brad Pitt. And to be honest, I think you should maybe put Brad Pitt into the game, because then I'm definitely playing it. You actually have to adjust to your environment to becoming a vampire, Zara.
That's right. So essentially, in the game, when you were made as a vampire, sort of very young vampire, a lot of other vampires are made at the same time in this thing called the mass embrace. And that means that essentially they're having a less lucky time than you in the world. You're having a relatively good time compared to them because they don't know what they're doing. They're going through vampire puberty on their own. And you might have a family, you might have, say, a wife and children, and you are morally objecting to drinking blood to survive. And so you might have a less good time, let's say, than the player is having. So you can find them throughout the world as well.
And Brian, the first game came out in 2004. You've been waiting 15 years for this. Any pressure?
Yeah, tons of pressure. But yeah, we're going to make it worth it.
Well, you know what? I think there are people around the world watching this, and of course the audience here, and they all can't wait to play this game. Can you wait, guys? There you go. So I think you've convinced everyone here now. When
I expected a lot more gameplay.
We're going Q1 next year.
Fantastic. And when can we learn more?
Bloodlines2.com.
Thank you so much, Brian and Cara. Good luck. Give it up, guys.
A lot of games are coming Q1 2020. Final Fantasy VII Remake announced for March.
In space.
Cyberpunk for April.
Is a space station sim from Ominux Games and Chucklefish.
Vampires coming around that time.
Earth, humanity has launched a desperate attempt to find refuge among the stars. Your task is to manage a colony capable of sustaining life, crafting components, controlling colonists, and sending out crews to mine asteroids. But when you're living in space, there can be big consequences for even the smallest mistakes. Let's take a look at the brand new gameplay for Starmanzer.
So we got glimpses of gameplay, but it wasn't really like a gameplay reveal, which is, I don't know. And a lot of the footage, I don't even know if it classifies it as gameplay. It was more like in-engine panning. Anyway. Oh, this looks cool. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, I love indie games like these. This looks pretty interesting, actually. Starmanzer. Hey, Steam! Powered by Epic, but
both started
Game's
as
coming to Steam.
modders. And now, they each independently run their own studio. Let's welcome to the stage, from Tripwire, John Gibson, and from Torn Banner, Steve Piggott.
Hey, Sean.
This show is powered by Epic, that is. But the game is
Now
a
I
Steam
understand.
game. That's what I meant.
Well, you started as modders, working independently, now running your own studios. Talk to me about the collaboration that you started together.
Yeah, Steve. So we've known the Torn Banner guys for a long time, even giving them some advice when they were modders, going commercial, helping them not make the mistakes that we made. And
Chivalry.
we've been friends, and we've always wanted to work together. And now we've sort of formed this independent, former mod team, professional super group to get an awesome game out to fans.
Yeah, and for us, this is a dream partnership as well. We've always been really close with Tripwire, and we really respect their games. We see them as one of the few studios that's bringing true innovation to the FPS genre, and that's what we're all about as well.
Well, let's take a look at this upcoming collaboration between Torn Banner and Tripwire.
They barely clapped. Someone was like,
You go first. It's your chicken.
is this in-game? I think so. Looks good. Visually. A lot of games coming 2020.
Oh, talk to me about Chivalry 2, Steve.
Well, Chivalry 2 is about bringing players into their favorite medieval movie battle scenes. And our flagship game mode, Team Objective, does that by having players complete medieval objectives like sieging castles, raiding villages, and
Yeah, you're not just going and standing in an area and then a bar fills up. You're, like you said, burning houses, killing peasants, you know,
yeah.
playing as peasants, getting killed.
It's really about letting the player experience every iconic moment of the era. And on top of that, this time around, we've increased the player count scale to about 2.5 times what the previous game was, the 64 players. And on top of that increased scale, we've added horses, which really allows us to add a lot of drama to the game and bring experiences like the Battle of the Bastards from Game of Thrones.
Don't worry, we'll ignore the last season. Just Battle of the Bastards is going to be in the game.
Yes.
All right, so I want to ask about the swordplay element to Chivalry 2. I mean, I know it's a really critical element.
Damn,
yeah, and this time
that
around,
diss,
we've
though.
completely revamped. I mean, we really view what we're doing here as bringing a true sequel in every sense.
Yeah.
We've attempted to completely revamp the combat, movement, and animation systems so that every swing, every action of the combat feels readable and fair, and also has the satisfaction and the weight that you would expect when two medieval knights in full armor are clashing.
Yeah, and it's very, very fluid and much more accessible than the previous game. And it's, you know, the pace is so much quicker. It was what I really enjoy when I'm playing it.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask about the fluidity, because in a lot of melee combat games, you hit a button and there's like a full animation swing and then you sort of reset. So it's kind of these discrete, chunky times. I understand that in Chivalry 2, the swordplay operates differently than that.
Yeah, we kind of think of it like when you're swimming, where you're kind of constantly using both arms at the same time. And a core part of our focus this time around has been making it so that players can fight multiple opponents at the same time.
Like 1-on-3, 1-on-4 situations?
Exactly, because that's fundamentally part of the becoming the ultimate warrior fantasy and achieving glory on the battlefield.
Well, I mean, I do have to ask, I'm talking about swordplay and mastery, but the original Chivalry, I mean, it's kind of like silly fun. Like, how do you balance the mastery with the fun element?
Yeah, our goal has always been to make it so that players can take the game as seriously as they want to and also as silly as they want to. We know that probably about half our audience plays the game drunk, and we love that.
At least half.
Yeah.
That's an important metric to track.
And the game has a huge influence from Monty Python as well. I mean, in the over-the-top voiceovers and the role-playing opportunities, I mean, the game is genuinely hilarious. As an example, you can beat a man with a chicken while quoting Shakespeare.
Like picking up a chicken as a
Yeah,
weapon,
physically
that's a
clubbing
mechanic.
him to death with
Well,
a chicken.
that's excellent.
Really?
Well, I mean, I have to ask, when can people get their hands on Chivalry 2?
So Chivalry 2 is coming out early 2020.
Oh my
and
God,
it's
another
coming,
one.
First to the Epic Games Store.
Oh, look forward to checking it out in early 2020. Gentlemen, John Gibson and Steve Piggott with Chivalry 2. Thank you so much. We are just getting started here at the PC Gaming Show. Let's take a look at what's coming up
There was
next.
like an awkward pause there. I don't know if you guys caught that.
You're watching the PC Gaming Show.
Dane Ann was like, oh, well, great. And then the audience was just like, no.
Build a world for wildlife in Planet Zoo. From the creators of Darksiders, Remnant from the Ashes, Baldur's Gate 3, and more trailers, interviews, and gameplay footage.
I hope they show gameplay of Baldur's Gate. There's just a lack of gameplay. Blops? It's not Black Ops, is it? No, something else. Blip Blop, okay. Collect trillions of blops. Okay, yeah, this is definitely not not Black Ops. Yeah, I don't know why this would be Black Ops. Black Ops, I think. Black Ops 5, I think, is what they're working on for 2020. Call of Duty 2020. This year, obviously, it's Modern Warfare. I like the art style of this. Mosaic. Coming 2019. Blip Blop. What? Okay.
That was a brand new trailer for Mosaic, a dark and atmospheric adventure game coming later this year from developer Killbyte and publisher Raw Fury. So how are you guys enjoying it so far? There's been some swords, some space stations, vampire puberty. We're listening to your reactions to the PC Gaming Show throughout the entire broadcast, no matter what platform you're watching and ranting on, so keep them coming. Our next game is a ghost-themed multiplayer hide-and-seek game inspired by a popular mod. Charge up your proton packs and get ready for Midnight Ghost Hunt.
I'm realizing in past E3s, you'd normally get at least one long gameplay presentation. We have yet to see any of that this year. It was almost tradition to show at least one sort of a continuous walkthrough of a game. You know, it's 10 minutes long or whatever. That trend is like, it's disappearing, and I'm not liking that at all. Maybe Ubisoft will show something, you know, more extensive in terms of gameplay, I hope. We'll see. But like Microsoft used to show like a demo of Gears of War, a demo of this and that. There's none of that this year. I hope Ubisoft or Square Enix can change that trend. Because, yeah, what's disappointing me about this year's press conferences is the lack of gameplay that makes me go, oh, okay. At least this game, you know, is showing plenty of gameplay. But I know there are a lot of major titles that people would like more insight on, and they're getting nothing on that front. Vampire the Masquerade 2, for example. I think the game's gonna be great, but as far as an E3 showcase is concerned, I was a bit disappointed.
Joining me on the stage to talk about Midnight Ghost Hunt is the dynamic one-man team. Creative director, programmer, designer, it's Sam Malone!
Thank you for having me.
Sam, please tell us what is going on in that. What is Midnight Ghost Hunt all about?
So Midnight Ghost Hunt is a multiplayer ghost hunting hide-and-seek game You can play either as ghosts or ghost hunters, like a 4v4 format.
I see.
The ghosts can hide inside average everyday objects around the haunted house. The goal is to look like harmless furniture, but on the inside, they're not so harmless ghosts as you saw.
Yeah, and if I'm understanding correctly, it's not about hiding as a lamp to try to assault and take out a hunter. It's actually, you would do that so that way you can keep running away and continue to hide.
Exactly. So the main objective of the ghosts is to try to stay hidden as long as they can until the time runs out, until the clock strikes midnight. Midnight being kind of the hour of the ghosts, basically. They can fight back if they like, but in general, they want to try to hide. But if there's a hunter kind of off by himself, he can quickly just hit him in the back of the head, knock him out real quick, and he has less hunters to deal with at that point.
I see. Well, what's the identity of the hunters? I mean, we've been seeing furniture flying all over the place. What are the hunters doing?
So the hunters, it kind of can be divided into two different segments. The first part of the game is kind of almost like a detective game because they're sort of trying to figure out where the ghosts are hiding because it's not really obvious at first glance. So they've got gadgets like a footprint tracker, they've got like a radar like you saw, to try to narrow down where in the haunted house these ghosts are hiding, basically. As soon as the first ghost is found, though, it starts getting a bit more chaotic. There's ragdolls flying everywhere, and they have that cannon to really try to smash the ghosts into pieces. So those are kind of the two aspects of the ghosts.
I see. Well, talk to me a little bit about the inspiration for Midnight Ghost Hunt. I understand it's based on
the concept. I think is pretty all right. Yeah.
So that's definitely
this could
a big
be fun.
inspiration. But the big twist for us is that the props fight back. You saw the furniture; they hurl themselves at you, they knock you out, they send you flying. So it kind of almost becomes like this action hide and seek sort of mashup. You have a reason to be a little bit afraid of the things that you're hunting. So that changes up the dynamic a good amount, I think.
And I want to ask about when the clock strikes midnight. We saw the very spooky red color pop up. We didn't see what happens then. What's going on then?
So midnight, if even one ghost survives 4 minutes into the match, then you hear this ominous grandfather clock chime across the map. All the lights will actually flicker out. It'll get really dark and scary, and all of the ghosts that were destroyed actually return as vengeful spirits. They're a lot more powerful than before, and they glow a very brilliant red. So at this point, the tables have turned. The hunters are now the hunted, and they just need to try to work together to stay alive long enough for their evac to come, which is another 4 minutes or so. Usually the ghosts win when it gets to midnight.
Are you talking about like 90% of the time?
Like 90, yeah, usually because the ghosts are so overpowered at midnight. Right. The hunters are doing whatever they can to try to prevent midnight from even occurring.
That's actually kind of interesting. I don't know. I like what I'm hearing about this game.
Well, awesome. When can people get the chance to try out Midnight Ghost Hunt?
So we'll be running an alpha event later in the summer. You can sign up at midnightghosthunt.com. I'd also like to give a shout out to our Discord, discord.gg/midnightghosthunt. Later in the summer, we'll be giving out keys on our Discord as well as on our main website.
Well, wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, Sam Malone from Vaulted Sky Games. For our next title, we got Frankie up in the balcony, and if I understand correctly, Frankie, this is a sequel.
You do understand correctly, Sean, yes. It's a big sequel to a small indie game. Unexplored 2 is a procedural adventure, a roguelike that challenges you to fight, to be clever, and to solve its mysteries. Explore a beautiful world, engage with its creatures, and befriend its people. Search for magic lakes and ancient statues until you die. And die again. This is Unexplored 2.
Unexplored 2. Somebody's asking some questions. Yong, 3 questions. One, could Activision do an E3 show, or that's BlizzCon? Activision, I don't think they tend to do their own show. They show their games off in other conferences, and their presence at this year's E3 is smaller. Or have they done conferences before? I don't remember. Let's see, Activision press conference. I feel like I don't feel like they've done that. Maybe I'm wrong though. Yeah, I don't think they've ever done a press conference, so they tend to show their games off as third-party titles during the bigger conferences. As for BlizzCon, yeah, I mean that used to be a Blizzard thing, but Activision's seeping more and more into Blizzard, so I expect that Activision's going to show their own titles alongside Blizzard's at this year's event. Metroid Prime 4 at Nintendo Direct? I don't think so. They recently announced that they have rebooted the development of that game because it wasn't going well, and they brought in Retro Studios. They were very open and honest about it, which I appreciate, but that means the game's gonna take a while to develop, and I think it's still in the early stages, so at best we'll maybe see a teaser, like an artwork or something. I don't expect we'll see gameplay or a major reveal of some kind. Number 3, now Keanu's in game. VO, will you two work together? Oh, one can only dream, right? I mean, that's I think that dream is a long while away, but hey, you never know. I'll certainly strive to achieve something like that. But yeah, working with Keanu would be a dream come true.
For your buck that you can get when building a new rig is investing in a new.
It's a long way.
Here to talk about a groundbreaking
long
new
journey to get there.
Samsung's
So.
Dean Del Cerro, welcome, Dean. What you got for us?
Today we're here to announce the new Samsung C27 RG5 Curve gaming monitor.
Well, let's take a look.
Wait, what? A monitor? Is that what we're talking about? Okay, well, I'll talk over this for sure. Don't get me wrong, I'm nothing against monitors that have 240 hertz, but I'm here to see games. So yeah, chat. If you have any questions while this plays, ask away. I will say I do like the format of developers coming on stage after a showcase and answering some questions, like that Ghost game. I think the developer answering questions and talking about some of the game's mechanics went a long way in making me go, oh, I see, that's interesting. But it's just the footage itself. Well, for the Ghost game, they actually showed a lot of gameplay, but for other games like Vampire, I wish there was more gameplay.
And we think that the curve, it's 1500 art radius, is going to be a very immersive experience that you wouldn't get from a traditional
something tangible, not just be told about it.
Some of the color specs.
Sure, it's a
because words don't really mean that much.
You get those deeper blacks, brighter whites, and hopefully you'll see
at E3 sometimes due to developers often exaggerating or what have you.
G-Sync. I saw that flash up on the screen as well.
First G-Sync compatible monitor, so we're super excited about that.
So if you can actually see that happening right in front of us, we can actually believe what they're saying.
That you would expect that 240 hertz refresh rate and the G-Sync to work well with.
Sure, so we think everybody's going to appreciate the speed and the performance, but ultimately, esports first-person shooters are really going to benefit.
Right. Well, of course, I have to ask, not just when is it available, but
is it just me, YongYea, or has this been a major letdown so far, other than Midnight Ghost Hunt?
For a 27-inch panel?
Yeah, so far it's
because when you said
it's the same case with Microsoft, where some of the a lot of the announcements are actually intriguing. It's just they're not showing us enough of them
Check out Samsung.com/gaming240
for me to really be engaged in the conference and to feel like, oh, this is exciting. This game, I'm so pumped. Like with Vampire, I'm excited for that game. I'm probably going to get it. But
well, I want to let you know that we have
in terms of this conference specifically, it didn't do that much to hype me up for the game.
Stay tuned for
what
more
little glimpses we saw in that snippet and that montage looked good, but I didn't see it in a continuous format, so I still don't really know. I still,
rip the galaxy a new wormhole in
you know, I'm still in wait-and-see mode as a result. Ivan Sexy 182, do you think Death Stranding will be on PC someday?
And now the PC gaming
I think it might be possible. I've heard rumblings. I guess it depends on Sony, because they're the ones who funded this project. I guess it depends on the contract that they signed, or I wouldn't say it's impossible.
Hello, everyone.
Maybe a bit unlikely.
Thanks for warm applause. It's very exciting for all of us at Funcom to be here at the PC Gaming Show for the very first time ever. And naturally, we would like to show some of the cool stuff that we've been working on. So without further ado, here are some of the games coming for 2019.
Something strange is going on all across the zone. I don't fear nothing until now.
What is this? Mutant Year Zero. I haven't heard of this game, so...
A lot's happened since you've been traveling, Khan. We could use your skills.
Doesn't catch my personal interest.
Stacks, right? What happens to you happens to me.
approaching.
Oh, somebody in the chat says extended Bloodlines trailer on Paradox's YouTube channel. Maybe I'll head over there and run that right after this. Whoa. What is this? Conan? Oh, this is like a montage of various games. Okay.
My son, off to fly among the stars.
Funcom,
Please
okay.
welcome to the stage, founder and director of Mighty Kingdom, Philip Mays.
So yeah, at Funcom we've been doing our own games for over 26 years now. But recently we had the great pleasure to be working with some other very talented developers and help them publish their games. And on that note, I'd like to introduce Phil Mays. He is founder of Mighty Kingdom, a studio out of Australia, who has been working with us on something a little different.
Thank you, Natasha. So on April 1st this year, we put out a little trailer for something called Conan Chop Chop. And considering the date, it was perhaps no surprise that people decided that that was an April Fool's joke. So yeah, we have a little surprise for you. Check this out.
Some people saying the audio level is a bit off, that I'm too loud and the presentation's too soft, volume-wise. What is this? Looks kind of fun, actually. Okay, people are saying audio's good. Or, I don't know, it's mixed. Some people are saying to tune it up.
So there you have it, Conan Chop Chop. It's a roguelike action-adventure game. It's very real, and it's coming to PC, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Nintendo Switch on September the 3rd this year. It's 2019. We also have a playable version here at E3 at our demo room, so if you want to give stick figure Conan a try, then please don't hesitate to drop by. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Last Oasis is a nomadic survival game set in a post-apocalyptic future where the Earth has stopped rotating. The last humans need to outrun the blazing sun in massive open-world environments. Good times. But cheer up, sunshine. This is one of the most original-looking multiplayers we've seen, with interesting ideas underneath, a player-driven economy, and some truly incredible death machines. Coming to early access on Steam on July 15th, let's take a trip to the Last Oasis.
My tribe built wooden legs to lift us over the burning sands. We must move forward.
Turn up the audio a bit, hopefully sounds better. What is this game called again? Last Oasis? Post-apocalyptic? How does that make sense? That's a cool looking contraption right there. Okay, so it's a third person action game or something else? Is it open world or is it like play matches? Is it multiplayer? Levy Ormanston says, I feel this year's E3 is slow due to the slow development cycle. Could be it, but in that case, maybe they should announce games closer to their release so they can actually show people the game. Not long before its release. That way the hype doesn't fizzle out. And that way, you know, during events like E3, they can actually make a pretty big splash. But that's just me. That is my opinion on the matter. Planetfall.
The name of the game is Age of Wonders Planetfall, a 4X strategy game, and joining me on the stage to talk about it is the game director Leonard Sass and principal gameplay developer Tom Bird. Welcome, guys.
Hi.
Good to be here.
Thanks.
So, Leonard, just give us the gist of what Age of Wonders Planetfall is all about.
Sure. Age of Wonders is a turn-based strategy game where you play as one of the survivors of a shattered galactic empire. At the start of the game, you choose or create your own faction.
Yeah.
And they include the Vanguard Expeditionary Forces, who are in cryosleep when everything went to hell. There's scavenging cyborgs, or the Amazon bioengineers who ride dinosaurs into battle.
Yeah. You know, I want to ask, because there's a pretty broad range of 4X strategy games. To give a sense of what the gameplay is, I just want to start from the beginning of a game. What
Virgil2221 says, with how many games are coming up in 2020, they might have had to cancel E3 if they would have announced them closer to the date. That's true. A lot of games are coming early 2020.
Your capital colony, where your entire empire begins, your sort of attempt to take over the world. Around you, you've got a number of sectors, and each of these sectors has a little story. Well, not most of them. So maybe you'll find a genetics lab, which is still full of horrible mutant creatures, an entertainment complex overrun by horrible robot monsters, a temple with holes in the sky and horrible demons who come and get you.
And I did see in the trailer dinosaurs with lasers, correct?
Dinosaurs with lasers.
Perfect.
Well, cats with lasers. No, sorry, no cats with lasers.
I'm so sorry to disappoint all of you.
Gungrave Forever 47. When do you think Last of Us Part 2 and Ghosts is coming out?
Show up in the game briefly, and I know that growing resources in tech is a huge part of strategy.
Last of Us Part 2, I'm pretty sure rumbling suggests it's a 2020 release.
They sort of represent the past of where you came from. They include new units, new modules for your units.
Death Stranding is 2019.
Orbital laser cannons
November.
can launch from space.
Ghost, I don't know. I think 2020 as well.
All about war. And then the second part of your tech tree comes from your secret technology, and that's all about the future of your faction. So you can create like a combination between man and machine or man and computers.
Yeah.
Others include doomsday technologies that allows you to infect the entire population with alien brain-eating parasites, or win the game by splitting space-time.
I love how many details you're giving me of the horrors that await on the planet.
The future is not a pretty place.
Well, I want to ask about some of the combat that we saw, because in a lot of strategy games, the combat can be very brief. It just, you know, shows two armies pinging off each other. But I understand that the tactical layer is quite rich.
Right, so when combat starts, you'll see, like on the world map, maybe like a little sort of space lab or something like that. When you go into combat, you will zoom all the way in, and you will be inside the lab. You'll see all the pipes and all of the goops flowing around. All of your units, which you've been putting together and built, are now deployed. In turn-based combat, you can move them into cover, use their abilities, shoot laser cannons. Maybe you've chosen the Dvar, so you've got like a bunch of space dwarves in little metal suits. They'll dig holes in the ground.
A little bit of
shoot from the
extra gameplay here.
Maybe you've chosen the Kirko, sort of horrible alien bug monsters. They run forwards and slash people and puke acid on them, that kind of thing.
I mean, how long do some of these battles wind up lasting?
It depends. A short battle can be maybe 2 or 3 minutes, but at the end of the game, you know, you've got a massive siege with like 20 units on your side, 20 units on their side. You've got orbital cannons blasting holes in the world, and that can maybe take 30 minutes.
Interesting looking strategy
Talk
game.
to us about when we can play the game.
Okay.
Or is it
the
a
game is
tactics
due
game?
this August 6th. It's going to be available on PC, multiple platforms, consoles, and it's available for pre-order now.
Well, lovely.
Oh, that comes out in...
What's that URL?
It's
2 months.
AOW-planetfall.com.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. It's less than 2 months away. Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining me up on
Thank
stage.
you.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye, guys.
Thank you for sharing the horrors of the future. And for our next game, Frankie, I have to ask you, what year is it?
Why? The year is 1946, Sean, my dear boy. Europe lies in ruins torn apart by the satanic Plan Z. A brave band of heroes cast the Fuhrer into hell, but little do they know, the nightmare is far from over. Achtung!
This presenter
This
is
the world-exclusive reveal of the next shooter from the makers of Sniper Elite 4.
It's like she's performing on a theater stage. That's how she's presenting herself.
Rated M for mature.
It's kind of weird, but... Is this another Sniper Elite game, or...? A lot of people talking about that presenter. I don't hate her or anything. She's trying to liven things up, but I don't know if the theatrical style of presentation blends with a gaming show, but that's just me. Ah, another cinematic, I see. So it's Sniper Elite with zombies? It looks to be that way. This might be interesting. You know, I say might because this is a cinematic. It doesn't tell us anything about how the game actually looks and plays. The recurring theme of this year's E3. So I have no interest. E3 should be about giving people information about games, not about showing us movies. But assuming, you know, at least we do have a general concept of what they're aiming for. And Sniper Elite with zombies, with Hitler, could be all right. Could be something that could appeal to people. Sniping Nazi
Later
zombies.
On the
Okay.
PC gaming show, a love letter to classic JRPGs. What's next for Warframe?
Oh, Warframe, I think.
A surreal noir adventure.
A lot of people will be interested in that.
During and after the Big Bang.
How long has it been?
Baldur's Gate 3. And
Yeah,
more.
that's what I'm looking forward to. But I feel like they're not going to show any gameplay. After Vampire the Masquerade, after how little they showed, I get the sense that Baldur's Gate is even less ready for them to show gameplay of.
Ravaged the earth. An unending assault without reason.
It's been 46 minutes so far, I think, into this conference.
To a hatred that we do not understand. This evil will consume our world.
Me Gunner, Yong, did you cry watching Endgame? LOL. No, I don't think so. I got the feels though. I got I got cathartic, for sure. Steve Chung. Hey, sup, Young. Big fan. Cyberpunk 2077. Indeed. I cannot wait to check out more of that game and talk to you guys about it.
Death itself. Prepare yourselves. They are here.
What game is this? Remnant. Is that new? From the Ashes. Oh, Perfect World. Okay. We're actually seeing a lot of Steam games, weirdly.
To talk about Remnant from the Ashes. In that trailer, we got the chance to see so much new gameplay footage and new environments. Let's welcome the CEO of Gunfire Games, David Adams.
I believe it was Chivalry 2, the only one that...
So, David, I want to ask
the only game
for those who are unfamiliar
that was
with
announced
from the
as an
Ashes.
Epic exclusive during this show.
So Remnant's a co-op action shooter set on an apocalyptic Earth and across a bunch of cool fantasy worlds.
And I mean, in that trailer, we got the chance to see a huge variety of different environments. Like, what are these different places? Who's the player in this story?
So as a player, you're on sort of a Odyssey-like quest to save the world, and we really wanted to
A lot
have
of people in the chat
cool
seem to
locales that you go to
be
just
receptive towards this game. Yeah, it looks pretty
you
alright.
start on Earth, but it rapidly changes very quickly as you get into the game.
And one thing that we've talked about before is that replayability is a huge focus of the game, that you could play through it 10 times and still be seeing new bosses, new monsters, new locations. How exactly does that work?
Yeah, I think one of the coolest features of the game is the dynamic generation system. So we generate the maps, the enemies, the quests, NPCs, bosses, everything.
You've built those all by hand, right?
Yeah, it's all hand scripted, but the system takes all the pieces and stitches it together. So you might play the game and come into work and say, hey, I talked to a giant tree and fought a dragon boss, and I'll be like, I met a guy in a helicopter, an old guy in a helicopter, and killed a tree ant. And we'd have completely different experiences playing the same game.
And you just have to keep going through and eventually explore what all the possibilities are.
Yeah, you can play the game over and over again to see the stuff. You can jump into your friend's world to experience the content in their world, and that's a big part of the game, just jumping in and seeing what you get.
Well, I want to ask about loot, which
That's
is,
interesting.
I understand, a big part of the game. How does it function alongside this ever-shifting gameplay experience?
Yeah, the loot in the game is all legendary items, and it's tied into the dynamic generation. So if you fight a boss or meet an NPC or get a cool, unique side quest, it generally coincides with a cool, unique item. It might be a boss weapon or a magical item or armor. So if you play the game and you get all completely different events, you'll have different equipment than I have.
Huh, yeah, it straight up does look like...
In the trailer, I also saw that there were three
like
people
Dark
walking
Souls
through these. You mentioned the
and
co-op
Monster
experience.
Hunter, but
How
with
does co-op
shooting?
function in the world?
So the game's full co-op from beginning to end. You can jump in at any point, and the game's definitely slower paced, more difficult. I mean, you will die a lot in this game, so
awesome.
There's a huge advantage to bring your friends to come in there and help you take down bosses or fight off different events or just generally progress through the world.
Yeah, well, I mean, as a big fan of Bloodborne and Dark Souls, I'm really looking forward to Remnant from the Ashes. What's the release date, and where can people go for more information?
So Remnant's coming out August 20th on
awesome.
PC and Xbox and PS4, and if you pre-order the game now, you can actually get in early and start playing the game August 16th.
Well, awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, David Adams.
This
from
game
Gunfire
actually compels
Games.
me quite a bit, and somebody in the chat here says full gameplay of Remnant available. Actually, an awesome game so far.
Earlier, keep those questions
All right.
coming. I will be asking on stage
That's
the creative
cool.
director of Borderlands 3 everything you want to know. Doesn't matter what platform you're on, just use hashtag PCGamingShow. And until that time, let's talk about our next title. This one was announced 2 years ago at the PC Gaming Show here. It's a game from Clay Entertainment called Griftlands. It's changed quite a bit in the last 2 years. It's now a deck-building roguelike where you don't just fight, but you also negotiate your way through a broken-down sci-fi world. It's going to be available on the Epic Game Store in one short month on July 11th in alpha. Let's take a look at some of the footage of what you'll be playing.
Okay, well, some people telling me to watch the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 Extended gameplay. Oh yeah, it's right here. I'm gonna put this on after copy link address. I'm gonna put this on after watching the PC Gaming Show. I don't know why they wouldn't show the extended version when all eyes are on them, but okay. This works too. So I'll put that on after we get through this. And also, oh, there's like an extended live stream of Remnant from the Ashes from back in PAX West, so 9 months ago. And IGN has a boss fight video for it from 2 months ago, so yeah, I would like YouTube search Remnant from the Ashes. There's actually plenty of gameplay here that we can already look at.
Planet Zoo is the latest game from the makers of the brilliant Planet Coaster. Please welcome Piers Jackson and Lisa Bowens from Frontier Developments. Now, Piers, what kind of zoo are we going to be running here?
So Planet Zoo is a new management sim game from us. It involves you building and looking after a modern zoo, and you get to look after the most authentic animals we believe you've ever seen in a video game. Each of our animals are unique. They have their own
That one
needs,
bandit.
their own
So what have I
desires,
missed
their
so
own
far?
behaviors. They interact with each
Not
other
too much,
and
actually,
interact with the world you
I would
build
say.
around them. And today, for the very first time, we're really excited to be able to show everyone here our gameplay video and to announce our launch date.
Well, fantastic. Let's buy the world's largest family pass and take a look inside.
MNESCO says 2020 shaping up to be a very deep year for gaming. Can't forget about Borderlands 3 coming to Steam in April 2020 as well. Yeah, 6 months later, but yeah, it is eventually coming to Steam. Marcos Martinez. Much love, Yong. Hope you are as hype as I am for Death Stranding. Also look forward for a game called The Fall Hyuhei on the future. Wish I could tip more. Keep the awesome content. Alright, I'll keep an eye out. Thank you for the tip. Yong, any game you are still looking forward to seeing at E3 other than Cyberpunk? I'd say I want to see more of Final Fantasy VII Remake and the Avengers game that Square Enix is working on, which they'll present later today. That I'm really excited for. Okay, so this is a zoo simulator. For those who are into that. Visuals look pretty, actually. Visuals look alright. I think the animals are pretty well animated here. But I don't know if this is my kind of game personally. It's coming to Steam.
Lisa, I love some of the animal shenanigans here. I mean, hippos pooing, adorable baby elements. It's absolutely brilliant. I can't wait to play it. But before we saw the trailer, Piers mentioned this is a modern zoo, but what exactly does that mean?
So nowadays, when you go to the zoo, you're not just going to see all the lovely, pretty animals. You go there, you want to be, you know, learning about conservation. You want to learn about the research that they're doing. You want to be educated. And these are all things that you're going to be able to do in Planet Zoo. And these ideas of the modern zoo is really what we take to heart. And we're going to be promoting, you know, the health and the welfare of your animals as the most important thing to do.
And Piers, when can we see more gameplay, and when are we going to be able to get our hands on it ourselves?
So we're obviously demoing the game all this week at E3, but most people aren't going to be able to see that. So we've recorded our presentation. Lisa's done a fantastic voiceover for it, and we'll be releasing that onto Frontier's YouTube channel. That goes live this Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific time.
Well, fantastic. I cannot wait to watch. Thank you so much for joining us, Piers and
People are
Lisa,
pointing out that
everyone.
Remnant from the Ashes has a 2-hour gameplay demo from a week ago
We have a very special
on their
guest
channel.
all the way from Japan.
Yeah, I can see it right here. So yeah, just plenty of footage out there you can actually check out for that game. I'm actually really intrigued by this.
And Shenmue creator, Yu Suzuki.
Oh, Shenmue! There we go, look, the audience just came alive.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining me on the stage is a
Oh,
legend
man,
of
are they gonna
Japanese
show
game
this game,
development. It's Mr.
finally?
Yu Suzuki.
Hello, everyone.
In addition to being the brains behind the following games, Hang On, Space Harrier, Outrun, Afterburner,
Or is this
Virtual
something
Racing,
else?
and Virtual Fighter, Yusan also created the Shenmue series. And he's here to talk about Shenmue 3
Yes,
right now.
I
Take
actually
it away, Yusan.
have been looking forward to this. Okay, things got a bit
この場に
interesting.
立てて光栄です。I am so honored to be here standing on the stage today. それと20年支えてくれたファンの皆さんありがとう。 I just want to say thank you to all the fans supporting me for the long 20 years. Thank you very much.
The wait is nearly over.
That's
the wait
right.
is
Let's
nearly
take a
over.
World-exclusive look at Shenmue 3.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Okay. Wow. They saved this for the PC showcase. Interesting. Either way, we're gonna get...
Honestly, I don't think your kung fu is strong enough.
Grandmaster, I...
A long time ago, martial arts were bad, but humans are interesting creatures. They practiced in secret, away from prying eyes, and became stronger. One even practiced atop this very boat. Nam-Tren survived the ban and was passed on in this way.
What did you say to me?
Stop it. They threaten and extort money from shop owners, get drunk by noon, and cause trouble. Everyone in town is afraid of them.
They are heartless. Hey, wait right there!
Okay.
This is him, the Japanese guy who got in our way.
You've got some guts to barge in here on your own.
November 19th, 2019.
I know so many people have been waiting for Shenmue 3. I would like to once again thank you so much. Thank you, Yusan, for joining us today.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Now our next title is near and dear to my childhood heart. It's based upon a game I grew up playing called Heroes of Might and Magic 2. Let's take a look at an upcoming collaboration between Coffee Stain Studios and Lava Potion.
Yeah, a lot of people saying the graphics look dated. I absolutely agree with that. And the voiceover reminds me of like the dubs from, you know, Chinese kung fu films and stuff like that. Your kung fu is very dated. But master! Stuff like that. But yeah, that wasn't really gameplay, it was more like cutscenes again. Hopefully they'll have more to show about that game, like actual, like I want to see how it plays, even if the graphics look dated and stuff. If the game itself is fun, if the battle system is worthwhile and stuff like that, if it harkens back to, you know, Shenmue 2, which a lot of people loved, I think it'll win hearts. But yeah, and the lip syncing a lot of people are pointing out is hello, that thing, that kind of thing. Whoa, this looks dope. The graphics kind of remind me of Golden Sun here, which is always a plus.
Unleashed on them all during these final hours. We'll raise every bill to take back what was ours.
The name of the game is Songs of Conquest, and here to join me in talking about it is the lead designer from Lava Potion, Carl Toftfeld. Hey,
yeah.
Carl.
Hi, hey, thanks.
I mean, let's just start off, for anyone who maybe hasn't played the Heroes of Might and Magic series, what is Song of Conquest all about?
It's all about, well, you kind of start out with in the town that you just saw in the end of the trailer, and from there you recruit your wielders, it's what we call our commanders, and you recruit an army, and then you kind of send off your wielders on an adventure. And they go exploring the world, they pick up resources to flag mines, and with those resources, you upgrade your town so you can get more stuff, and that's kind of what you do. Adventure and strategy combined.
Yeah, and you know, I know that part of the core loop is obviously get the resources to build up the township, but for what reason? Armies, man. Talk to me about those juicy battles.
Yeah, so the battle, just like the whole game, is turn-based. So you go into combat, you bring all your troops in, and you start by deploying them, and then all the troops have different stats, like offense and defense and health and so on. And they go in initiative order, and then you slug it out, and it's a bit like chess, but instead of like pawns and bishops, you have like horned wands and face spirits.
Great, and griffins and so on.
Yeah, and all those things.
And well, you know, as someone who just loves the Heroes of Might and Magic series, I know that you have translated a lot of the gameplay elements into Songs of Conquest, but what are some of the modern elements that you're bringing in?
Well, there's a lot of it, but I mean, one of them is our magic system. We call it the essence. So basically, in the Songs of Conquest universe, everything has an essence within there. It's sort of like the soul. So your troops, they have an essence. And to do magic, you need to bring the troops with the right essence, with your wielders' skills.
Oh, I see.
So if you want to like make your troops go faster, you need to bring a troop that has that essence, like cavalry.
And maybe to ask a basic question, what if my opponent kills that cavalry?
Then you can't do the magic. So.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So if you're fighting someone, you kind of have to like weigh the pros and cons of what to kill off. Like, do you want to destroy their magic or their powerful troops?
Where can people go to get more information? And as always, when's it coming out?
Late 2020.
Oh, it's quite a ways off.
It's quite a ways off, but you can go to songsofconquest.com.
Sign up for closed beta.
Alpha, and then
or closed alpha.
Earlier.
Well, as you know, I'm really looking forward to playing it, Carl. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Visually, this game looks pretty striking, I will say that.
Now, our next title is an update to a popular co-op game. Let's see what's in store for Vermintide 2.
Oh, Vermintide. That's the zombie horde game. I've played that a bit with some friends. Yeah, the fantasy-based zombie horde experience. Or is it, it's just hordes of monsters, I guess. I don't know if they're necessarily zombies. Yeah, like rat-like creatures and stuff, among other things. Yeah, less zombies, more monsters. Very plague-like. Matthias Tillman? I think Matthias says, "Whoa, you're also a fan of Golden Sun? I thought I was the only one. You think we'll ever see another one?" I think the third game didn't... I don't know if that did very well. I know critically a lot of people were disappointed by it. They thought the first two games were much better than the DS game. But I'd love to see them have another go at it, because that series is very near and dear to my heart. But yeah, more Vermintide.
You just saw the reveal of the new PvP mode coming to Vermintide 2, which turns the Warhammer Fantasy cooperative game into something even more brutally competitive. It looks deliciously vile, and surely dismembering Skaven is so much more satisfying when you know you're going ham on a fellow player, making him or her cry little baby rat tears behind their computer screen. You can sign up now for the Vermintide 2 versus beta at vermintide2.com/version.
She kind of looks like Emilia Clarke with like curly hair. Maybe it's just me.
An artificial consciousness orbiting Mars, whose ultimate purpose is to terraform the planet, starting from a single drone in your landing site and turning the planet into a flourishing second home for humanity. Courtesy of developer Talon Industries and publisher Raw Fury, here's a first ever look at Per Aspera.
Lots of compliments being paid to Vermintide. It's been a while since I've played it, so I actually don't remember much about it, but I know a lot of people are excited for it.
Transferring the complexity of the human mind to machine.
And yeah, PvP mode, that's new. We'll see how that works out.
So they can succeed where we fail. So they can build us a home on that distant, dusty rock. Today, Amy reaches Mars and begins their mission. Amy, are you with us?
Of course, I'm with you, Houston.
Whoa. Okay. This like a civilization type of experience? Per Aspera. Wishlist on Steam.
In the Assassin's Creed universe, our next guest sent players back in time to rewrite history. But for his debut project with indie studio Panache Digital Games, he's going to take us back 10 million years to where humanity began. Here to tell us all about ancestors is creative director and co-founder Patrice Désilets. Welcome, Patrice.
Thank you for having me. I'm really happy to be here. I've been waiting 10 years to come back on a big stage at E3 showing off a game.
Well, it's fantastic.
Oh, this is the other game being made by the Private Division label from 2K, which is also making Outer Worlds.
I needed a game, an open world game in which you can do a lot of things. You need a character in a 3D environment at first. And I said, oh, I'm the historical guy. I'm the historical dude, so I need an historical period. So I said, oh, let's go back at the very beginning. It'll be easier to do because I won't have to build a city. I won't have to build technology. And I was a bit naive because we built Africa 10 million years ago. And that's not easy to build.
It doesn't sound easy. I mean, how have you turned those themes into gameplay?
Well, you play our last common ancestor, right, of all the big apes, and then you have to explore your environment, and eventually you expand your territory, you expand your clan, because you're not playing that one badass character. You play a group of badass character. And eventually you evolve into different species, up until Lucy the Australopithecus roughly 2 million years ago.
I imagine our ancestors had a lot more issues to deal with than we do today. There's going to be a lot more dangers in this world, so tell me a bit more about those.
Well, it's all about from a prey to a predator. Basically, at the beginning of the game, everybody's there to kill you and devour you. And basically, at the end, it's pretty much you. You're the predator, and everybody's afraid of you. And that's the idea of Ancestors, the Humankind Odyssey.
So, Patrice, ultimately, what is the key to evolving your clan successfully?
Curiosity. You need to explore. Because, you know, I made a game about characters, and you needed to follow the story I wrote for you. This time, you're basically writing the story.
Which primate is
There's
best?
no story per se inside. It's not about going.
Gee, I wonder which one's going to win.
It's not about looking at the mini-maps and the little dots. It's about you, hey, Homo sapiens. Can you survive like our ancestors did? And that's the question I'm asking the players. It'll be for you to answer that question August 27th.
Well, I was going
on PC first.
I was going to ask you when we can see it, and you answered my question first. Thank you so much,
getting
Patrice.
good at this.
As Patrice says, Ancestors will be released August 27th, and you can learn more at AncestorsGame.com.
This game looks compelling. I still don't get what the goal is. I don't know if I just wasn't listening well, but like, you start as a monkey, do you eventually evolve into a human, or like... Yeah, I don't know. I think we're probably going to see Baldur's Gate 3 as the big finale. That's what this feels like it's leading up to. Funny enough, I've been playing Divinity Original Sin 2 with my, that we've known about this since they announced Outer Worlds was also an Epic exclusive. All the private Division games are Epic exclusive. So, and right now that Division's only making 2 games, Outer Worlds and Ancestors. Yeah, 2K, Take-Two, they're kind of selling out to Epic exclusivity, even though they don't really need the money. You know how big Take-Two is as a publisher? The guys, you know, we're making all this money from Grand Theft Auto Online and what have you. Red Dead Redemption 2 had a huge launch. They have so much money, and yet they want more with unnecessary exclusivity deals. Auto chess? Okay, interesting. Learn more at epicstore.com.
Please welcome to the stage, Loring Lee, founder and CEO of Dragon Nest.
Indeed, auto chess has turned
How long
out to
is
be
this
a
show?
sensation.
We're
Hundreds of
at
thousands,
an hour
millions of players
and 10 minutes.
getting a taste of it, and here to talk about its coming to PC is Loring Lee. Take it away, Loring.
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm Loring Lee. Yeah, hello, yeah. I'm the CEO and founder of Dragonlord game. Dragonlord game is a game developer and publisher, comes from China. I'm so happy to be here today on this stage to introduce our game, Auto Chess, to all of you. This is really an exciting moment for us. As the trailer says, this is a real engaging game of auto chess. Dragonlord now is working with the creator of auto chess, Jodo Studio. We are working together to bring auto chess to our world, both on PC and mobile, so that everyone from anywhere with any device can enjoy the same fun of auto chess. Now we are building the PC version with by using the gaming engine of Unreal Engine 4. As everyone knows, Unreal Engine is one of the best gaming engines of the world. With the help of Epic Games and by the power of
So this is Epic exclusive, I'm assuming?
I believe we can finish our job quickly and efficiently. And today, I'm very glad to announce the PC version of Auto Chess will be coming to the Epic Game Store. I look forward to all of you playing Auto Chess on PC later this year. Okay, thank you everyone.
Thank you, Loring Lee.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.
Thanks so much for sharing the news with us. Once again, Auto Chess, if you have not played it, you must check it out. It is so fun. Our next title with
Auto
Frankie
Chess.
up above, I understand is an inspired indie game.
We'll find out, Sean, because one of the things we love about PC gaming is the way that game creators from all over the world can draw inspiration from one another's work. Chris Tales is a great example of that.
Haven't heard of this game.
A gorgeous indie love letter to classic JRPGs developed by a team in Colombia. Chris Tales' spin on the genre brings a unique perspective that lets you see the past, present, and future on one screen at the same time. So you'll see the future change based on your decisions in real time. Here's the world-exclusive reveal of Chris Tales.
Chris Tales? Is that what she said? Modus Games presents.
If you saw what was, what is, and what would be. If you knew how it ends, would you change it?
Ooh,
Could you
wow.
make the hard decisions? And would you be strong enough to fight?
I love visually intriguing games like these. Oh, can you go between
learn from
simultaneously?
And act in the present.
What the fuck?
You can rewrite the future.
That is really interesting. Chris Tales. I'm gonna keep my eye out for this one. Oh, there's a demo. What
in
the
PC
fuck?
gaming, it's not the size of your weapon, it's how you use it. And I'm holding one of the, well, quite frankly, it's a bit average, isn't it? It's just your average, Glock, really. No, it's one of the ridiculous alien weapons from our next game, Valfaris, a brutal, heavy metal-infused 2G action platformer inspired by true old-school classics like Contra and Turrican. Assuming the role of fearless warrior Therion, players must blast and slash their way through the doomed citadel of Valfaris, overcoming its deadly environments and enemies before challenging the arcane evil at its very heart. Get ready to rip the galaxy a new wormhole. From publisher Big Sugar, this is Valfaris.
Interesting. I love these indie games. that are so creative with their visuals. And this is just, yeah, pure heavy metal. I love that. That's fun. And there's plenty of gameplay here. Yeah. This looks fucking dope. Not gonna lie. Holy shit.
Just incredible action in the Valporis trailer. I'm very excited for our next guest. In case you have not been in downtown LA, E3 is covered with Borderlands 3 art. It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's
somebody said it's like
and
Doom.
joining
It
me
is. It's totally
the amazing and beautiful
like
Paul Sage, creative director.
It is a 2D Doom, like side-scroll Doom, basically.
Yeah,
I love it.
There you go, Paul. Welcome. I mean,
Doom and Contra
so much hype
come
around
together.
Borderlands 3. What's the stuff you're really excited to be sharing this year at E3?
Oh man, so we've talked about our Vault Hunters. Well, this
Shit,
time
this
we
is
get to
one of the
talk about
highlights.
Mose, and she is our gunner Vault Hunter. So she has a big mech. So it's one of the things. All about loot. We're talking about the different loot, such as shields, grenades, those things, going to different planets. So a lot of stuff to talk about.
Well, I mean, I want to start right off with Mose. Tell us everything you can about her.
Okay, yes, I'll tell you everything I can. So Mose, again, like I said, she's a mech pilot. She has this big mech. It's called Iron Bear. She gets into Iron Bear.
Borderlands.
We have multiple action skills, which means that she can equip either a minigun or a railgun or a flamethrower. If you want to barbecue your enemies, something like that.
Oh,
so,
nice. Mix and match.
Yeah, Mose is a terrifically fun character for us right now.
Now, we've been excited to be collating a whole bunch of community questions. We're going to break them into two categories. First, there's a whole bunch of repeat questions that I want to make sure we get to right now. One of the big categories is about loot, because you've mentioned having a billion guns earlier, but what can you tell us about some of the other gear, the other progression systems?
That seems like an exaggeration.
Yeah, so, let's talk about grenades, like one of my favorite things that we don't get to talk about.
There's probably a lot of guns.
So in the past, we've had grenades that they've had like one thing. They can bounce, they can stick to different things, Yeah. This time, we're combining like all of those things. So for instance, the other day I was playing and I threw a grenade and that grenade had a bounce, it would stick, an explosion would come out, and the grenade would fire guns as it was going through, right? So we have like a ton of different grenades that are in there.
Uh-oh. And it's dead.
Shield where if you
there we go. We're back. We're back.
Stand out in front of you, So just tons of different things that we have with our characters. Class mods are unique, and that they give you skills.
It's definitely not me. My connection's good.
You currently have.
I also remember earlier you mentioned about artifacts. What are those?
So artifacts are, we've kind of concentrated on like, hey, does the game feel fluid? Can I, slide into things? Can I jump? Can I?
Artifacts is what I'm seeing on screen right now.
We slid into a barrel, right? And the barrel exploded. And we're like,
stream's kind of glitching out a little.
Kind of fun. Yeah. So why don't we do something like that? So our artifacts actually add certain things to movement. So for instance, you can slide faster. You can slide, and every time you slide, there's an explosion. We have something we call.
No.
Second category of questions unrelated to loot. Well, there's going to be a single-player campaign. What's going to be happening after the campaign? What are some of the beyond the single-player, maybe end-game content that you can talk about?
All right, in-game content. Okay, well, it's E3, so I give a little bit. So we have this thing what we call the Guardian system. So for those people who played Borderlands before, you might remember Badass Ranks. Badass Ranks, you can get, is basically kind of an infinite progression system that added to your stats.
Yeah.
We doubled down on that. We have what we call Guardian Rank. And Guardian Rank not only has that infinite progression, but it has skills and different skins that you can open up as you go through. And the cool thing about that is, like, every character that you play on that account gets the benefits of Guardian Rank.
Oh, interesting.
F to pay respects.
Last category we're going to go through, and then we're going to hit some rapid-fire
I love
questions.
that meme.
How do the boss fights in Borderlands 3 compare to Borderlands 1 and 2? I know those were big aspects. How do you build upon that?
Right, so I think of a boss fight, like I'm an old school Nintendo fan, right? So I love huge boss fights that have like three phases and stuff like that. So now those people, smart people in the audience know that we've talked about going to vaults instead of vault, right? And so there are different like huge boss encounters there that are just, multi-phase boss encounters. We have like a lot of different mini bosses throughout the game, so a lot of different boss encounters throughout the game.
Well, now I want to ask some really quick questions that should be yes or no, very brief. First from Castore, how will you be handling multiplayer?
Multiplayer, we will basically be allowing anybody to jump in at any time, so.
Awesome. From MHL Animations, can I pet the gun? Great question.
I'm not here to judge what you do with your gun, so that's a personal question.
All right, great. Sam Wiseman asks, is Maya's new companion a siren?
People are asking the right questions. That's what I will say about that.
Oh, you tease. All right, from Ironic Sanguine says, is Tiny Tina going to be seen fighting alongside the Vault Hunters?
Yes.
Nice. All right, I'm just going to blast through a couple more as fast as I possibly can. Right. What's the level cap at launch?
50.
Will we get to see flak?
Yes.
Will we see golden keys and or shift codes for Borderlands 3?
Absolutely.
Will there be duels?
Yes.
Other kinds of PvP?
Yes and no.
Cool. That answers
and
that.
Also maybe.
And
Perfect.
maybe, yeah.
And will you be able to transfer weapons between your characters?
Absolutely, right from the start.
Perfect.
Nice.
And when is the damn game coming out?
Friday the 13th, 2019, September 13th.
Perfect. Borderlands.com for more information. Thanks so much for joining me on stage.
John, thank you.
Epic exclusivity aside, this game really does look pretty great.
Oh, they're beautiful.
And Randy
Our next
Pitchford's
game, we're going to be revisiting a guest that we saw earlier
tirades
in the
aside.
show. He's upstairs with Frankie. What you got for us?
I love how they brought in someone who isn't Randy Pitchford.
Oh, hi.
To present Borderlands 3. I think they were
I was actually
very
testing out
conscious
my
about that,
outfit
given
for this weekend. I don't know. What do you think, John?
I think you look really sharp, as always.
Very sharp. Well, thank you so much. John Gibson, president of
Given
Tripwire. Thank you
what's
for
happened
joining us
with him.
again on the show.
Yeah,
very busy man. Yes.
Yes.
Now, last
All
year,
the
we revealed
negative
Man-Eater
PR.
to the world. And can you remind anyone who missed it what the game's all about?
Shark Suit,
Absolutely.
why?
Man-Eater is an open-world action RPG, or Shark PG as we call it. You start as a small baby shark pup, and you have to survive in this harsh world and try to eat your way to the top of the ecosystem. The three words that we think sum the game up the best are eat, explore, and evolve. And we also have someone we'd like you to meet.
Well,
Blah
let's
blah
meet him then. Let's
tralala
take a look at the
says,
new trailer.
Young, will you buy Persona 5R? I love that game, but having to go through another 100 hours and then plus the extra content, I don't know. I wish I could just take my save file and then transfer it over, and I don't know. But then again, because the new character will be implemented, I think, early on in the game, it just wouldn't be compatible. Like, I'd have to play the game from beginning to end to, you know, increase the social link for the new character and the various new social links, so... Or the confidants, as they're known here. I don't know, I'll see if I have the time. That's the main issue with Persona 5, it's time. It takes so long to beat the game. But I do love it, and I hope to one day get it.
Come any closer with that camera, we two gonna tussle.
But I don't know, maybe the reviews will frickin' love it. The critics and audiences, and if they absolutely say you gotta play this again, it's worth going through the whole journey again, then sure. But I feel like I've had my fill of Persona 5. And it's a fantastic game.
Who was that appallingly dressed fisherman in the trailer? Because quite frankly, not even I would eat him.
That was Scaly Pete. And Scaly Pete's the villain in this tale. Pete is a best fisherman in the Gulf, the best shark fisherman, or he'll tell you he's the best shark fisherman. And he disfigures our baby shark at the beginning of the game and does some really nasty things. So he's not a very nice guy. And now the story of Man-Eater is told through the lens of a reality show called Shark Hunters versus Man-Eaters. And it follows Pete and the player shark on its adventures. And you know, it's a really, you know, it's a very exciting way to tell a story.
Claudio Bizama, they really jumped the shark on this one.
Like your main goal of the shark is to just bite everything.
Yeah, there is an awful lot of man-eating going on in this game. That is the name of the game. And but we'd like to think of the game as a shark-tastic fun action game. It's like GTA if you were a shark. But there's
okay.
There is more to the game than just eating. So we spent a lot of time moving through the water, breaching out.
Oh my god, that looks so cool.
And adding abilities to go up on the beach for an afternoon snack.
Oh my god.
There's a lot of exciting things that you can do in the game.
And you mentioned before it's a Shark PG. How does that progression system work?
So there's three facets to the Shark PG elements of the game. There's growth, there's life phases, and there's evolutions. So growth comes about through
Holy
eating things,
crap.
nutrients,
That looks
people,
brutal.
whatever you can find. And that's kind of like your XP in the game. That allows you to level up, your shark will grow a little bit, you'll get more powerful. And then at key phases that we call life phases, you'll make a big jump. So let's say you're a brooding teenage shark and you're about to become an adult. When you become an adult, you take a big leap in size, a big leap in
This looks wonderful.
power and capability. And then as you reach these life phases, you unlock evolutions that can be applied to parts of the shark's body. For example, you could get metallic teeth that allow you to shred boats, or a powerful tail that allows you to jump to incredible heights, or you could get mutated lungs that allow you to spend a little more time on the beach getting those afternoon snacks.
Just really quickly, John, everyone's wanting to know this question. When's it coming out?
So we're really hard hammerheading away at this game and trying to make it the most awesome shark RPG ever. We're not ready to announce a date, but we're pretty certain you're going to see it before the next PC gaming show.
Well, I hope we do, John. Otherwise, I'm going to have to start biting people. In fact, I'm quite hungry at the moment, so I think actually I'm going to find an audience member because you guys
This is
look
the
tasty,
game.
So I'll see you in a bit. I'm just going to have a snack.
I didn't know I needed until now, so... Crap, that's like GTA, GTA Shark Edition if they only took the aspect of people driving, players who drive their cars and run over people. It's that turned into shark mode. I dig it completely. 100% I'm in on it. I'll say this about this PC gaming show. They've actually showcased a couple games that kept my interest. And I'm like, huh, that's cool. I want to see more of that. And they are showing more and more
one of the
gameplay.
absolute best parts about being sponsored by iWin for the PC Gaming Show is that I get to sit for this next segment and talk to you about
PC
Terraria.
gaming chairs. I don't
Terraria
really
is
care
one
much
of
for
the
that.
best-selling PC games of all time.
Let's
selling
read
almost
the chat a little
30
bit.
million copies. And part of the reason why it's maintained such popularity is the fact that the developers Relogic continue to add content, going from 250 items.
YongYea, will you be streaming the AMD event? I don't think so. I don't know about that.
Ultimate expansion coming
AMD
up,
event?
Terraria Journey's End.
If it's hardware based, then I'm probably not going to do that. I don't talk about like graphics cards and stuff. I'm more into talking about games. Oh, Terraria is cool. So they've got like an expansion coming or an update? The alternative says, the shark puns make me want to die via actual shark. Bullshit. Wow, look at this chair, says one commenter. What? The trailer just glitched out. All right.
The next title that we're going to be looking at is a game that is the spiritual successor to her story.
Cool.
It's called Telling Lies by Annapurna Interactive, and joining me to talk about it is game director Sam Barlow.
This show's gone on for...
actor-producer Logan Marshall Green. Welcome, gentlemen.
I think for longer than it should.
Yeah.
My man.
Now, if you haven't played her story, you totally should. It's fantastic. I want to note, it is a game where you watch live interactive video in order to uncover what happened with a murder. What is it that's going on in Telling Lies? What's the premise?
So, like her story, Telling Lies is a game in which you watch video footage to piece together a story. And this time we have a woman who has stolen an NSA hard drive, which contains secretly recorded, intimate and private conversations between our four characters. Something has gone terribly wrong, and it's up to you to figure out what and why.
So this is an adventure
game. Time to take a look at some of the gameplay mechanics and see Telling Lies in action. Let's take a look.
Once upon a time.
It's late. I gotta get her in the bath. I don't love you and I don't miss you. You already know too much.
That last actress, I know. Wasn't she in
It's late. I gotta get her in the
24
bath.
season 5?
All right, love you.
And like that, the one episode?
Love you.
If you're not a fan of 24, you probably don't know what I'm talking about.
I've only ever been in love once. It was with a girl I met when I was 18, but I was too young and naive to handle it properly. I guess I still carry a torch for her, which makes me an incurable romantic or underdeveloped emotionally.
This game entirely depends on the acting of these, of the cast.
Oh, Sam, I got some questions for you about what we've just seen. Talk to me about the mechanics. I saw, subtitles up, highlighting, and it was loading more video footage. What's going on?
So what we do in Telling Lies is we take all of the exploration you would have in a normal video game, so all that walking around in a 3D world, and we apply that directly to the story, to the footage itself. So you're going to be scrubbing around in these clips, paying close attention, and you're going to be picking up on the subtext, listening to names, people, places, and with that information, you're going to use that to find more clips, dig into those, and over time, kind of build up this picture of the story. And it's
an interesting
truly like
concept.
An open world video game.
Well, a lot of times with open world video games, they talk about, the square kilometerage or miles in America. What's the sort of scope that we're talking about? Like, how many hours of footage is there?
So we got over 10 hours of footage here.
Wow, really?
It's a story that encompasses 2 years. What I wanted to do with this one was, like I say, really embrace this idea of it being an open world game. You're free to explore and follow your curiosity. Just lose yourself in this story, all the characters. It's this huge, messy, colorful story that we're trying to tell.
Well, I'm curious, Logan, as a performer in this kind of game, what is it like to actually try to have all the layers in there for each performance, also not knowing when a player is going to be seeing the specific footage you're performing?
Well, it's definitely a non-linear open world game, but our approach and Sam's approach was not unlike a movie or a TV show, and we had to understand it A to B. And so for the most part, that's how we shot it. Obviously, when you're shooting a movie or a TV show, and in this case, a game, you're going to be shooting out of order. But we actually stayed pretty linear in how we approached the story. We went after it like all the other
Howard
times
Simulator?
for actors. We just went after intention and then what do we want, and we tried to make it as deep. It's got a lot of scope. But we wanted to make it as deep as possible, and Sam is one of the best movie or TV directors I've worked with, so it was very similar.
Nice. Yeah, look at you two. Now, of course, I do want to stress to any of you, if you have not played Her Story, it's quick to play through. It's absolutely brilliant. Please check it out in the meantime. But
Her Story.
We're, of course, waiting to find out when
heard
can
about
we
that?
play Telling Lies.
Very soon. Very soon.
Okay.
So we'll have a date soon. Right now, you can go to Steam.
That game got a
Steam. We all
really
love
good
Steam.
reception, actually.
And yeah.
If it's from the same developers.
More during E3, and the game will be out. Yeah.
Or at least from critics, it got good reception.
Yeah. As soon as humanly possible. Well, Sam, Logan, thanks so much for joining me on stage. Once again, Telling Lies.
So yeah, interesting concept. I'm wondering about the execution.
Now, up on the balcony, Frankie's going to be talking to us about a game that my friends, year after year after year, keep telling me I have to play because of how much they've improved it. Frankie, what's going on with Warframe?
Well, one of my
Warframe.
favorite parts of last year's show, aside from being upstaged by a giant duck, was getting a glimpse at the future of Warframe. And here with the latest look at the next expansion to the universe is Space Mum Rebecca Ford. So, chat, behave yourselves, please, because Mother's here. Now, Rebecca, what are we about to see?
We're going to take a look at an amazing trailer that our team has put together. A lot of our players have been waiting a year for a look at what we've been calling Railjack, so it's about time to, see what we've been doing.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Isn't that where you literally take your ship and do space battles and traverse the world or the universe? Yeah, it's the straight up the Battlestar Galactica game mode that they're introducing here. That's really cool. You've basically got your own quote-unquote Millennium Falcon. things are happening in the ship, outside of the ship. Okay, so it's just a tease. But they're gonna reveal it fully on July 6th. Okay. Empyrean. Whoa. Is that a new... Okay. Yeah, 10-0 live. July 6th. Makes sense that they're saving more for that event, I suppose. But this actually looks dope as shit. And it's free.
Rebecca,
it
it
is
must
free.
be so exciting to know that the fans have finally seen it, and you're clearly going all in on the epic space combat. So tell me about the new stuff that players are going to be able to experience.
I wasn't shaking before we started talking, and now I am because it's real, because, you know, Empyrean is what we're calling codename Railjack. It's basically taking the Space Ninja part of Warframe, sending it back up to space, bringing players that squad gameplay they know, taking the enemies like the Corpus and the Grineer, giving them their own Railjack to essentially explore the solar system with and take down the bad guys.
And when are fans going to get to see more?
Well, TennoCon is in London, Ontario. It's July 6th, and you can come watch it online on Twitch. We're going to be showing a lot more in our keynote for what Empyrean is going to be.
Well, today I'm getting a feel for the suit. So what's the deal with that sweet-looking Necros Prime? How do I get my Tenno arms into it?
I cannot say that on live television, but you know, there are ways. But yeah, you just have to link your Warframe account to your Twitch account. If you watch 30 minutes of our Tenno live show, you can get it. But hopefully you stay for the whole hour, because we got lots to show.
Well, thank you so much, Rebecca, and good luck with TennoCon on July 6th.
Thank you.
Okay, now we've seen some amazing stuff today, but nothing quite so gloriously strange as our next game. Developed by Brooklyn-based studio Feral Cat Den, it's an existential-based chat odyssey set during the Big Bang. Yeah, it's actually blown my mind learning about this one. Buckle up, everyone, because we're about to get bonkers with Genesis Noir.
About to get bonkers. Fantastic. Ooh. Another intriguing-looking game. But when is Baldur's Gate 3? That's really what I'm waiting for. I think a lot of people can say the same. We need some Baldur's Gate action right about now. It was a dark and stormy night when I found a body lying there on the ground. Her face, horror-struck, unlike anything I'd ever seen. Something clearly shook her before her untimely death. I don't know what I'm doing right now. I just love narrating to noir music. Genesis. So it's yeah, okay. Wow. This looks like an acid trip and a half.
Genesis Noir, just beautiful, stylish art. The next game we're going to take a look at is the twist on the stealth genre. It's called El Hijo, where you play as a 6-year-old trying to escape a monastery and find your mother using toys and tricks to avoid monks. Let's take a look at this gorgeous spaghetti western-inspired project from Studio Handy Games.
What is this called? I think I missed the title. Looking at the chat. Somebody asked, Alan Mayers asks how long this is. I have no clue. I thought it was going to be like an hour and a half, but it's stretching into the 2-hour mark. I think it's going to be 2 hours. I'm just waiting for Baldur's Gate. I hope the wait will be worth it. That's all I really want. Baldur's Gate. If they don't show gameplay of Baldur's Gate, I'm gonna flip my shit. I'm kidding, I don't know. I'll understand if the game's not ready to be shown in terms of gameplay, if it's still earlier in development, but You know, it's clear that they're building up towards a grand finale. El Hijo. Ooh. That's interesting. But yeah, they're building up towards Baldur's Gate.
Once again is the title of the trailer we just saw.
That pronunciation.
For
El
our final
Hijo.
guest tonight, please join me in welcoming
El Hijo.
from Darien Studios, CEO Sven.
Oh, Baldur's
and
Gate!
From
Baldur's
Dungeons
Gate!
and Dragons at Wizards of the Coast, the creative director of Dungeons and Dragons, Mike
Please,
Merle, to talk
show
about
us.
Baldur's Gate 3.
Please show us. Don't just talk about it. I hope we see something.
Now, this was only just recently announced. How did this partnership come about?
We went to see Wizards of the Coast at the end of Divinity Original Sin 1.
Yeah.
That was back in 2014. And I tried to convince them back then that they should give us the Baldur's Gate 3 license. And they said, yeah. But we had a long chat about what the vision would be for the game. And then we kept on bumping into each other. And then suddenly in 2016, I get a phone call from Nathan Stewart, who's the big boss of Mike and the head of Dungeons and Dragons. He said, you need to come to Seattle right away. We're going to have dinner in a very shady restaurant. And he had this big stack of paper with him. And on it was Baldur's Gate 3. And in it was pretty much everything that we talked about. And he says, I'm going to present this to my board. Do you still want to do it? I said, yeah, of course I still want to do it. And then a couple of weeks later, we started negotiating. And here we are.
After Originals in 2,
What does the Baldur's Gate franchise mean to you, Mike?
Wizards of the Coast was like, yep, no, we need these guys.
D&D computer games, right? I mean, for me personally, Baldur's Gate, the original one, was finally I had the chance to actually play a D&D campaign rather than having to run them for all my friends. So it means so much to us. Baldur's Gate, it's such fantastic storytelling, and it's so exciting to see it come to not only a new generation of gamers, but for the gamers who remember the 20 years it's been since the original, the first 2 in the series. So it's incredibly exciting. And for us, it's such an important part of the D&D mythos as a whole.
And we got a chance to see the trailer. Talk to me about some of the story elements, the world elements. What are things we're going to see in Baldur's Gate 3?
Well, we're only talking about what's in the trailer right now. But obviously, you're going to go to the city, because we start with the city. You start outside of the city,
So we're not going to get new footage.
There's going to be mind flayers. They're very nasty. You are seeing in the trailer the process of ceremorphosis, as we call it. It's accelerated, so that's not normal.
Yeah.
And you're going to see a lot of iconic creatures, iconic characters, iconic places, and that's as far as we go.
I'm curious about some of the gameplay elements, because obviously, there's just been a big resurgence of Dungeons and Dragons, tons of broadcasts on Twitch. I mean, how do you translate some of the insane things that players want to do into, what has to be a structured computer game?
So we started with the player handbook, which is basically the basic rule set of Dungeons & Dragons.
Which player handbook? Which edition?
5th edition. 5th edition.
Great. Yeah.
And
Important
so
distinction
we ported as much as we could to the video game. We looked at what works really well. We looked at the things that didn't work that well, because it is a video game, and this was made for tabletop gaming. And so we started modifying those things, and then we had to add things on top of it, because if you play tabletop, you have a game master, and you say, well, I want to do this.
Yeah.
And then the
I
game
want to start a fight with a pigeon. And he's like, okay, roll for dexterity.
Exactly, that's it. So we had to add systems to make that possible.
Actually, you'd first roll for initiative.
We've gone very, very far.
Yeah, I mean, can you give an example
and then
of
do an attack
a crazy
roll.
moment that a player might do that
maybe add your dexterity
you could actually
modifier.
play out in the game?
Well, I could, let's say that we get into a fight, because you ask a nasty question, I don't want to answer it. And I take the chair over there, I put it on fire, smash it on your head. Well, just as an example.
It's just an example. This is fine. We're just talking. We're just talking.
These are things that we have to put systems into the game for to do it, which are not necessarily going to be described inside of the book.
Interesting. And I mean, like, Mike, in terms of your role, speaking to Darien Studios, you have tons of data of all the sorts of things that players do. What's the sort of information that you provide in assistance?
Well, really what it comes down to is providing the story support. We think of Dungeons & Dragons, the universe of D&D. It's like a toy box for dungeon masters and players to go into and build their own stories. So working with Larry and working with Sven, a lot of it was just opening up that toy box and sharing it. And giving that kind of guidance. Like I remember one of our first meetings, we just laid out a map of Baldur's Gate and the Sword Coast and asking a lot of questions.
People pointing out my sudden
where do we want to
D&D
go?
outburst.
What are the cool locations we always wanted to put into a game like
To be fair, you'd add initiative to, or you'd add dexterity to your initiative.
What does it mean in terms of the story for each character?
There's something
for each
there.
character race, each character class. So that if you have your favorite class and it's in the game, you really feel like you're taking on that role that you love so much from the tabletop. It's really coming to life in an authentic way in Baldur's Gate 3.
And we're going to talk in a moment about Baldur's Gate 3 release dates and whatnot, but we have a second game that we want to talk about on a new technology known as pencil and paper. I understand that there is a tabletop prequel coming for Baldur's Gate.
Exactly. So in Baldur's Gate, we think there's one saga, all the different games coming together to tell one grand story of this city. So on September 17th, we're releasing our next tabletop campaign, Baldur's Gate: Descent into Avernus, and it is the next chapter in the Baldur's Gate saga, and it's a prequel to Baldur's Gate 3. So if you haven't played a Baldur's Gate game since Baldur's Gate 1 or 2, this is your chance to check out on the history. It's been about 100 years since the events of Baldur's Gate 2.
Yeah.
So this will give you a chance to check in on the city, to see what's going on, its current state, who the movers and shakers are. We also feature a complete levels 1 to 13 campaign that takes you from the mean streets of Baldur's Gate to the depths of hell itself. And sort of pose to the players a question, do you want to redeem Baldur's Gate or send it to damnation? So we're putting that right in players' hands to make that choice.
Well, I have to ask, Sven, it's a question on a lot of people's minds. What can you talk to us about expected release time frames?
So people have been waiting for it for a long time.
Yeah.
They're going to have to wait a little bit more when it's ready.
I dig it.
This is the game that we want to play.
The CD Projekt Red answer. I dig it.
And then when
it's ready when it's ready,
we'll release it.
Well, I know a lot of people have been waiting a long time. And I think I speak for a lot of people here when I say, take your time. If the Divinity Original Sin games are any indication of the quality, it's going to be fantastic and worth the wait. Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining me on stage.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ben and Mike talking about Baldur's Gate 3. Goodbye. Goodbye, guys. Why are they leaving? Well, it's because the PC gaming show has officially concluded. Let's bring up on the stage the fantastic Frankie Ward. Come here, Frankie.
No big major finale, I suppose. Full Swing says you don't roll initiative for surprise round. OMG. I thought you did, but you treat the people who are surprised. You skip the people who are surprised because they were ambushed. You basically take a free round.
All of you who
the players
personally showed up this morning,
ambush the
and of
enemies.
course the sponsors who helped make this possible: Epic Game Store, iWin, Frontier, Funcom, Paradox Interactive, Hovercast, Perfect World, Rebellion, Tripwire, and Samsung. As you know, PC gaming is a platform. It's not a publisher or developer, so these sponsors are essential for letting us put on this show.
Yeah, that's the end, folks.
Thank you so much. And I gotta ask Frank, any titles you're excited about?
Well, I do love a baby elephant, so
this was all right. I mean,
slightly more awkwardly. Then I also
it was no Bethesda showcase, but
so Maneater, of course.
I'm personally looking forward to Songs of Conquest, and as you heard, there's games coming out all across 2019 and into 2020. We hope you all have a fantastic E3. It officially begins tomorrow.
Hey,
big shout
people
out
are saying I'm correct. Okay, so I do know my shit.
Frames, good to see you 2 years in a row. We hope you all have a fantastic time at E3 and go play some games.
And in regards to the D&D,
see you next year. Bye,
how
bye,
surprise rounds work. Everyone rolls initiative, and then you treat the people who are surprised as if they're skipping their turn. Anyway, that's besides the point. Yeah, you know, they needed some kind of grand finale. This wasn't it. It's cool to hear more about Baldur's Gate, but all this information stuff that we heard about when the trailer was first announced and various media outlets did interviews with the developer, so this was really nothing new. Some cool games in here that were announced, that were shown, not gonna lie. The Shark game looks awesome. The Chris Light, is that what it was? That looks really cool. I'm actually intrigued about that. Oh, let's hold on. Let's show the Vampire Masquerades. Before we go, I want to share with you guys this bit right here. There we go. Okay, let's do this.
I guess I have to be the one to tell you.
This is the extended trailer for Vampire the Masquerades 2, which is up on YouTube, but I figured, let's give the show a grand finale. I'll do their jobs for them.
The city. We're all fighting over scraps here.
I've seen it raised by fire, shaken by quakes.
Whatever you do in my city, I will hear about it. Seattle is firmly under my control.
Okay, we're definitely seeing a lot more gameplay.
You're obviously new to this whole existence, but truth is, most of you types won't even make it a whole year. So you probably figured out that you need to drink blood. You can't just do whatever you want. Cities are carved up by political factions. Never tell anyone about what you are. See, vampires are extremely territorial. Unwittingly poach in someone's territory and suddenly, whip!
Ooh.
We have one rule. You don't break the masquerade.
The lip syncing's a bit off from what I'm seeing. Whoa. Some of these powers look pretty cool. Whoa, all right.
What the hell?
The Batman move. Cool. Reminds me of
Welcome
Dishonored.
to the first day of the rest of your death.
Some of these
Having
powers.
fun yet?
Oh, you can get texts. Check those out.
I'm happy to see you accepted my invitation.
GTA style.
All I need you to do is to find a thin blood by the name of Slug. He's in hiding. But the Nosferatu most likely know where he is. Once you find Slug, all you have to do is purchase some information off of him. Feel free to use whatever methods are needed to get him to comply.
Why didn't they show this trailer at the PC gaming show?
Your handlers have sent you to find our smelly friend. You can find Slug under the freeway, in a place the locals call the jungle. He's smart enough to hide among the homeless down there, but not quite smart enough to do it well. Talk to him about coming to see us, and no one needs to know. We'll let you keep anything you've been promised from whoever sent you to me, but you'll want to watch yourself.
Looks really
unsavory animals in the jungle.
Looks really atmospheric.
I don't know you. That's a good start.
Slug is a coward, but he survived this long on his own, so he's bound to be a handful. He's also not the only one you'll need to look out for.
This is a much better trailer. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
Whatever methods are needed to get him to comply.
We'll let you keep anything you've been promised.
Just let me go. Come on, just let me leave.
Oh my god, full dialogue tree. None of this wheel shit. You can actually select a variety of options. Oh yeah. Okay. Why did they not conclude with this trailer? It would have made a world of difference, I think. Could have been a nice, good finale. I'm digging it, you guys. Is that it? That's it. Okay. So Q1 2020. Yeah, they're emphasizing, you know, branching story, open world. Much improved combat from the first Bloodlines game. The powers look really cool, and I hope you'll be able to get pretty creative with that. Yeah. There's promise here. There's a lot of promise here. I hope we get to see more of it before the game finally releases, but yeah. I'm down for this. So that's the PC gaming show, folks. I think we can call it a day. Thank you for tuning in. I don't see many questions, so for now, also the Ubisoft conference is happening in an hour, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, so on and so forth. So somebody's saying here there's yesterday's Cyberpunk 2077 40 seconds gameplay sneak peek in the Cyberpunk YouTube, not public videos. You can go to it from the Steam page. I can just look at it, you know, from the conference. But yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I'll check that out, and that's good information for you out there. If you want to watch that snippet of gameplay over and over again, go to Steam. And there's the video linked there as unlisted, I suppose. Full Swing. But really, thanks for making E3 entertaining and for all your videos. No, thank you for tuning in. You're making this entertainment for me as well, believe it or not. So, yeah, just having a wonderful audience here to bask in all of this, to share our feelings and thoughts on everything going on. It's really cool to be here with you guys. Oh, it starts in 4 minutes? Really? It's now? Okay, all right. With that, I gotta set up a new stream. I'll see you guys next time. Yong out. Fuck.